Darklight Energetics channel is a project to explore the vast variety of topics about spirituality, psychology, and social topics as well. If you wish to support this effort, consider becoming a sponsor on Patreon or make a one-time contribution through PayPal. Your support will help us improve the quality, length, and number of topics covered in our videos. Do check out the links in the description below. And to become our channel sponsors, email us at info.darklightenergetics@gmail.com. Do like, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much and enjoy the video.
Hi guys, my name is Rich. I'm coming from the mountains of Colorado. I'm touching base with my good friend Jeet here from India,
Yep.
who I like to call my spiritual encyclopedia.
Oh.
I love to pick his brain about things, and the topic came up the other day concerning energy, specifically about energy in my point of view. My question is there a duality of light versus dark energy, and can one overcome the other, or is it just our personal perceptions of the energies around us?
All right. So, this is again, as always, a very great question, Rich. And first of all, thank you for having me and for asking this question. So, yes, of course. See, the light and the dark and the whole duality thing is it is very subjective, but of course, it is very based on in terms of perception level. You see, because we label things as the light and the dark because uh, because just because we have limited apparatus in terms of, suppose if there is light right now, there is light reflecting back, that is the reason you're able to see me, right? But if I just keep my hand over here, you'll not be able to see, the light will not be able to go through. But actually there are some particles which are actually going through also, you see. So
Right.
this whole light dark thing is, of course, the light dark and good and bad, all those things is created, in terms of psychology. uh, you can say it is created in terms of duality. But when we speak specifically about energetics, you can say that, it's more like we have discussed in one of the other videos also. It's more like vibrations, you can say, or vibrational frequencies, right? So it's more of on a frequency
Right.
level rather than light and dark, or rather than creating opposites. So I always tell my the people who for which I conduct the sessions, and we create this sadhanas and sadhaks, right? So we have the sadhaks who are dedicatedly working on their spiritual practices, on their path. We always tell them that growth is not always like this, even like this or this or this. It's all growth if you really go in spirituality,
Right.
because you're just growing. You are expanding your consciousness, right? So when it comes to consciousness and when it comes to
Right.
spirituality is all about inclusiveness, you see. So I've seen many people on many, social media pages like Instagram or Facebook. They say that, you be the light, share your light, or share your love, or spread your love. you know but the thing is that, to send the love, you need to have the love and you need to be the love. Now the problem is we don't even know what is love, right? I mean, when the moment we speak of love, the
Right.
first image that pops out in your head is a red heart, right? And something to do with all those romantic things. Or, I mean, of course it varies, I'm not saying specifically, but that's how it is, right? I mean, there is a image created of for love as well, right? But here, when we speak of love,
Right.
we even then also we are speaking about frequency of love, or what we call as frequency of heart, or you can call it Holy Spirit. Some people call it frequency of Unicode, or coherent frequency, right? So there are many names to it, but in the end, what it matters is what it is the frequency that comes when your Kundalini reaches your heart chakra. All right. So your Kundalini, right now, the Kundalini is already functioning. You see, so that is the other myth that people have, that we need to activate the chakras. Chakras are already activated. It is just that they are spinning in in either in a slow speed or a very fast speed, or they are spinning in clockwise or anti-clockwise in your system. But they are already activated by birth itself. It's already activated. Nobody needs to come and do take some crystals and work on you to activate the chakra. It's not like that. It's already there. But the thing is that you see the energy flow, right? So right now, the people who are, you can say, who are not much into spirituality, or who are not awakened, so called, are the people where the energy is lying dormant in the base chakra, that is the Muladhara chakra, or the base chakra, root chakra, right? So there the energy is dormant. You need to bring it up in that sense, but otherwise it's actually functioning. The energy is already functioning, but when we say you need to bring it up, or you need to bring up the Kundalini, is that particular energy which is dormant in the base of the spine, you see. So when you activate that energy, it slowly rises up, and the moment it rises till the heart, that is where your heart frequency start active. It really gets activated, and that is exactly what even Jesus means. You must have seen the picture of Jesus Christ where he's with the Sacred Heart. So that is what exactly he meant.
Yeah.
When he says Sacred Heart, what he meant is with the Kundalini Shakti, or with the energy of Kundalini, when it reaches the heart chakra, the frequency that you emit, that actually is pure love. Now, what has happened is, unfortunately, people have read so much and so many things about unconditional love and all those things, so they try to practice that. Unfortunately, even that creates the so-called dark energy, and I'll tell you why. I'll come to that. But once this is activated, you don't even feel like telling someone that, hey, look, my heart chakra is activated. You don't need to blow your own trumpet. It is just a natural phenomena, right? So so that is the main thing. Now, the reason why sometimes we feel that I'm just saying in terms of, because I have to tell it in language. So many times we say that the light, or the higher frequency, and then there is low frequency, or the dark frequency. Now, scientifically, if you see, there is this high and low frequency that we cannot deny, right? But what happens is, when you speak specifically about energetics, there is a flow. So let us say there is waterfall, right? So consciousness also flows like a waterfall, from high to low. You see, in a waterfall, the water always falls, right? It'll go down, right? Have you seen any waterfall going upways? No, right? It's an anti-gravity thing. It will never work. So what I mean by that example is, yeah. So what I mean by that example is that the person who is resonating through the higher frequency. Now here I'm again saying higher frequency, just so that we can understand in communication. Okay. So when he's resonating, or when he's functioning from the higher levels, the one who with the lower levels, he or she, her energy will definitely try to, get energy from this person. That is how it works, and that is how by default it happens. You see, are you following me, Rich? Yeah.
Right.
So that is how it happens. So automatically, even if that person doesn't do anything, it just goes. But that doesn't mean that that person is draining your energy. So I have heard many people, they say that, oh, gee, you know what, that family member is so toxic, or he's so narcissist, he drains my energy. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. Your energy, right? We are not a generator of energy. It's just something which is coming and going. It's just like sometimes you are so happy and sometimes you will not be happy all the time. You cannot be happy all the time. And this whole new age thing, they have created this thing, where everybody assumes that once you are spiritual, you're always smiling, you're always in joy, you're always laughing, dancing, and you're always pepped up. It's not like that. It's not like that. No, that is not, that is false.
I say, for example, on that, my son and I years ago were having a discussion over the internet, and we never had a real good relationship because he didn't want to be parented, but he was aware of my current path, to spirituality and all the good laid back things. Well, he said some things that prompted me to tell him on the internet. I said, if you were standing in front of me and you said that to me, I'd have probably knocked your teeth out. And he says, I thought you were all spiritual and calm, and now you're being violent. It's like, no, it happens.
See that exactly. That is the whole point. They, many people picture spiritual people as if they automatically become like Buddha or Jesus or any same type of figure, wherein we are always be like all smiling and so that's not how it works. That is not how it is. A spiritual person, for a spiritual person, there is no such thing as day or night or light or dark. For a spiritual person, everything is inclusive, like I said. So even when, only difference is, a spiritual person will be more intensely aware when he's responding. He will not react to situations, you see. So when I say react, I mean he or she will not indulge themselves into the petty mind games or shallow mind games. He or she will simply respond, and that response could be anything, right? So there, what happens is, I'll tell you this thing. So when you respond, right, automatically your Kundalini goes up if you are responding. So if you're responding to something, you will not go back and think, oh, did I do something wrong, or did I do something right, or what will that person feel, or did I hurt him? I'm just saying it's just a very natural flow. And when you're performing that, when you're doing that response, right, you will have this sensation in your heart, in this region of your heart. You'll feel light. Now you do the other thing. If you react, your physical body starts responding. You see, let us say if you're reacting in anger, and your mind says that you are responding, you're assuming that you're responding, right? But you're actually reacting in anger, for example, right? So there will be a physical response in your in your body, right? Like when you are angry, obviously your face become red, your body starts reacting, right? So that's how it is. So coming back to what we were saying and what we were discussing, so yes, in that sense you can say that when you are in the mind, or when you are reacting, see, again, mind is not the enemy, like we discussed last time, right? So mind is not the enemy, but here I'm just saying that when you're functioning from your head, that is with your logic and with your own systems like belief system, perceptions, all those things, not from the heart, then the thing is that it may create certain things which will make you function from the lower frequency, that is from the lower chakras. You see, say for example, there is let us say that you are angry for no reason, right? For example, you just get pissed off. There are many reasons for that, but one of the other reasons could be that you are functioning from the navel chakra, right? Now suppose if you feel jealous about someone or something, even there your energy is actually getting stuck in the navel chakra. So you see, there are different aspects towards it. If some person is more materialistic, if some person is not able to he or she is not recipient to spiritual things like spiritual sadhanas, that person is not able to experience meditation, or when he goes to church or a temple, he's not experiencing anything there. That person, the energy is lying dormant, and that is why that person is functioning from the root chakra or the muladhara. You see, so the energy is, so just to define or just to express it, we say that it is on the lower vibration. But otherwise, energy is energy, right? So I remember this particular teaching from, I believe it is from Carl Jung, and it says, "No tree, it is said, can grow to heaven unless its roots reach down to hell." Right?
Right.
So it says it all. That is how it is. You cannot just directly become enlightened or awaken or whatever, high frequency, or meet your higher self when you don't go through the bottom layers, like the lower chakras or lower energy, so called.
Right.
Right? So what I'm trying to tell you, Rich, over here is also, we must understand this whole concept of higher self, right? Like many people say, meet your higher self. The moment you say higher self, it depicts that you have already assumed that you are lower self, isn't it?
Right.
So I personally refrain to say, yeah, I personally refrain to say and use that term higher self. I only say be yourself or be your true self. The reason why we say true self is because there are a lot of layers right now around you in terms of your personalities. So we identify ourselves with the body and with this personality, which is also perfect. Nothing wrong with that, right?
Right.
Because to be functional in the society, you need to have those personalities also, isn't it?
In our theta healing, when we do that for people, we ask them to become their best self as they
Yeah.
ascend where we're going. Yeah. So there's still that ascension, but it's been renamed the best self.
Yeah, I mean, it's like giving you a carrot.
Yeah.
It's like impossible task. It's like giving you a carrot. Okay, you know what? This is what you have to achieve, and you just slog around, and you are like, okay, I'm just there. I'm just there. But in spirituality, there is nowhere to go. It's just be. Now again, this whole, even
Right.
this particular statement, just be or just being, everybody says that I'm just being myself. Unfortunately, has been misused a lot, actually.
Yeah.
If you look at it, because if, like I said, if you're really truly integral, you'll just be 24/7 what you are, 24/7 the way you are. You see, and the
Yeah.
main thing is, you don't need to showcase it on your social media that, hey, look, I'm just being myself, right?
Because really, who cares?
Who cares? Who cares? So I've seen many people, see, I'm not condemning them. I'm just saying that, it's just that I've seen many people who say that, but do the opposite actually, many times in their actions.
Yeah.
So now that is one thing. Now, if you go in on a different realm, Rich, let us talk about that. Say, for example, we venture, or we go into, let us say, things that we call as paranormal, for example. Okay. Now there are entities, there are beings which people call as negative entities, or negative beings, or dark beings, or dark energy, right? I mean, there are actual videos where they see dark energy, like the color is dark, it's like black energy roaming around in the room, which is assumed to be haunted, for example. Um, well, in India and in Eastern cultures, we put it like this, that even if there is an energy, for example, which is so-called dark, right? And if it is coming to you, first of all, why you have to be scared of it? People just freak out, right? It's the energy. It could, let us say, it is somebody's soul, for example. If it is some sort of soul which is trying to get something, or feed on you for something. we must understand that it's just trying to, I mean, if you're really filled with love, why are you having this fear, right? If you are filled with love, you can give your love to that particular energy, right? To that soul, and convert that dark energy into golden light, right? If you are really, really filled with love.
Yeah. But you brought up a good point where, and I probably knew this already, but the vibration of those energies is really what matters.
Yes.
Like the heart chakra is considered at 528 hertz, I think. And then I've got a little whistle from Deepak, and when I play that whistle for people who are nowhere near the way of thinking that I am, I mean, they grab their chest and they're like, "Oh, I can feel that." So it doesn't matter the person. We all have the ability to feel those vibrations.
Yes.
Crystals have vibrations. Metals have vibrations. When I do a chakra healing, I've done a couple times on my wife and a couple of her friends, and I just use a quartz pendulum and get the chakras in sync, as opposed to the chaotic way that they usually are.
Yes. Yes.
So once I can get those in sync, when they stand up, they're like, "I feel great."
Yeah.
Right, because your energy is moving and your spine is strong. So it's an easy thing to do to get that energy manipulated the way you want it.
Absolutely.
So light, dark.
Well, I would say like this. I always say this to all the all the people who are come to us for the sessions, and for the other spiritual sessions that we conduct. I always tell them this, that look, one is you need to have a strong shield which you create for yourself, right? But even to create that, you need to have a strong bond or strong connection with your own internal divine, or whatever you want to call it, or life, in that sense, right? You need to have a very strong connection within. That is one thing. You need to be authentic, you need to be integral in that sense. And once you have that, then automatically you start creating your shield. Now again, in that scenario also, many people visualize that they are creating a shield, then I'm now protected with this power and with this energy. It's just imagination, most of the time. But when we say shield, what we mean is you actually activate certain energy around you using crystals, or you can use quartz, like you said. You can also use specific gemstones for that. You can also use mantras, because mantras are very, very effective in this case, right? And sometimes it happens, like let us say in cultures, you can say Wiccan culture, the Wiccans, and the people who perform witchcraft, for example, or any type of occult which is there. So they have their own things to create a shield, you can say. Now, what is a shield? A shield is basically just something which you create so that your energy doesn't not, when I say your, again, not your energy, but the energy which is flowing, it doesn't get oozed out because of the low frequency, or whatever the frequency, or the entity, or anything, wherever you are. But then again, see, it's energy. End of the day, it is not something that you hold in, right? It is just gonna go out sometime or the other, right? It is just like right now you are in a good mood. You cannot be in the good mood all the time, 24/7, right? You cannot be. It's inhuman, right? Your moods will change. And even that also, people assume, oh, I'm having mood swings, I'm ascending. No, you are just there. Right? You it's just the whole flow of life. So mood swings are also there. It's a part of your your nature, you can say, kind of. But then there are energies that affect you for sure, that is there, so that they drain you, or they they make use of you, so that is where you need this shields. That is where you need to bring this whole light and dark thing. But in energetics, we don't teach anything. In energetics, we train people to become neutral from within. You see, when you become neutral, when you take a neutral stand, all these things won't affect you. Because I'll tell you why. When you are neutral, you are integral. You are integral in the real sense. When you're neutral, because you don't have biasness, you see.
So you're not trying to get from one place to another all the time. You're neutral.
Exactly.
That makes
You
sense.
are exactly, of course, you are not angelic, nor you are demonic. You don't label things like that, right? I mean, I know,
Right.
I personally know many people who follow Gothic path, right? Who are Gothic in nature, right? So many
Yeah.
people condemn that culture. Many people condemn those people. I said, why? I mean, Gothic doesn't mean that you always wear black clothes, but there are Gothic who like to explore some areas, like they go into graveyards, or they just they just roam around such places. So what's wrong with that? It's just the way of expressing themselves. It's a way of expression of seeing beauty in those areas. I feel it's the most precious thing. I think it's a matter of again appreciating nature, appreciating life, right? But people get scared. People think that they are satanic.
Well,
People think all sort of things,
that,
right?
that, that became socially unacceptable, mostly through the Christian church because of the afterlife and things you weren't supposed to speak of. So
Yeah.
that's why it's socially looked down upon to hang out in a graveyard. But where else? What better place to find a spirit to talk to?
Well, I would like to tell those people that end of the day, I mean, end of the life, we all are going to go there, right? Sooner or later, right? So why not? I mean, it's just that's what I'm saying. It's just this whole fear which is created. You see, it's just this fear, and this fear frequency is what we call as mind. Actually, if you look at it, right? In the end, it all boils down to two things. One is your fear frequency and the heart frequency, or what you call as love frequency, right? So every action or reaction that we have is either based out of fear or out of love. Now, when I say love, I don't mean the care and sympathy and all compassionate, not all those things. it's the actual love frequency or heart frequency that we are talking about, right? Is the actual heart frequency. And like we discussed, it could be anything. It's a natural flow. But fear frequency is for sure, it is there. Even that is also proved now by quantum physics, that when somebody is in the fear frequency, uh, the person resonates or vibrates in a dense manner. The energy circuits or the energy aura is dense when somebody is resonating or vibrating from the fear frequency, or you can call his mind in that sense, right?
So the takeaway from the question about light and dark, it seems to me, is instead of perceiving light dark from this direction that direction, to become neutral in my perception would help out my problem.
Yes, of course. First of all, you must become neutral to the problem itself, that there is no problem. Right? You just need to witness. You just need to, yeah, you just need, yes, you just need to witness within.
So you're saying I'm creating a problem?
Not you, but maybe the mind. We don't know, right? So it's again the duality thing, right? It's a duality thing.
Right. Yeah.
So that is why we always say, that we say that there must be oneness within. We don't need to practice oneness outside. We need to practice oneness inside, or what you call as unified frequency or Unicode frequency, or all sort of things that people say, right? It has to be from inside, right? Now, what do you mean by that is you become neutral within. You don't comment or you don't judge others or anything in your life based out of those biasness, based on your likes and dislikes, based on your personal preferences, based on your beliefs, judgments, morals, values, all those things. Because even all of those things are just created and it is just creating more conflict within, right? That's how, like you said, that if there is a fight and people say, "Oh, you are spiritual," how can you even say that? How can you speak such things? You are not supposed to say the F word, right? I've seen many people who say that.
That's what they say, but it's a good word.
Yeah. It's I personally I say this to all of them, like, anything that is not expressed is not authentic. Be it your love, be it your anger, be it anything when you are not expressing, you are suppressing it. By default, it's a scientific action and reaction thing, right? If you're not expressing, it is going to be suppressed in your psyche.
Yeah.
And that thing will bounce back in a very wild way. Right? So it's better to express it out rather.
Yeah.
Right? But we just need to be careful that we don't become factual while we are saying that or while we are expressing that. Because sometimes being factual is something which may create a problem for us, right? So, but then again, it all again depends on situation. It totally depends on how you're resonating in that environment at that particular given point of time, right?
Yeah.
So in the end, it all boils down up to you and your resonance. Now, again, there is another myth over here, which I have highlighted in other videos also. Many people say that your external world is a reflection of your internal world, right? So what happens is this whole new age thing, I'm just saying that, it has been misunderstood. The teachings has been misunderstood,
Yeah.
So what happens is now anything happens outside, people start to blame themselves. Oh, it must be something inside me that is a reflection, or it is my unhealed path. Like, I know many people who say that, okay, if somebody's angry outside, you are the one who is judging that person. You should not judge him or her. It's not her who is angry. It is your unhealed part, some aspect of you which is not healed, which he is or she is showing, which is not the case. Because I'll tell you why. It's not just the external world that is the reflection of internal. It is both ways. Your internal world is also affected by the external world, right? If somebody comes in front of you and he behaves in a very insane manner, it doesn't mean that it is your reflection. Let us say if you're walking down on the street and you see some people shooting other people with gun, is that your reflection? No. Right?
Nope, had nothing to do with it.
Yeah. But then the thing is that if you go on a broader perspective, yes, somewhere we all are connected, we all are interconnected. So yes, somewhere it is a part of me in that sense. But the thing is that me blaming myself or me saying that, oh, it is unhealed part or unhealed aspect of me which I need to heal and I need to work upon it, that is the thing which is a problem, which creates more conflicts, right? Because you are creating a conflict within. I've seen another quote online which says that you need to fight with yourself to prove yourself about the best, to get the best of yourself, right? So like you said, what is the best self? What is the best? Right? So anything that creates conflict within, it is only creating duality within. And there is that if you have those conflicts, you will always be in conflicts. No matter how much success you get in life, you will be in conflict and you will never be at ease. And because you will never be at ease, it will attract disease,
Yeah.
See, it's as simple as that. So
Yeah. It's broken down into dis ease.
yes,
So it's easy to see why that name came about. And you're right. And we call it stress.
yeah,
That's all it is. Stress is internal conflict.
yes, yes. Actually, there is see, there are two type of stress. Like I said again, one is the internal conflict that we create. So most of the time, it is the stress that we ourselves create for us, right? The other thing is the stress that comes from the external factors, right? The stress that comes from the external factors. Let us say you're walking down on the street and somebody said, there is a terrorist attack somewhere. So obviously there will be stress in you, right? You need to run, you need to run to some safe place. So that stress is something which is external stress or physical stress. But the problem that we face is the internal stress, and then we like to blame on the dark side or the light, the light and dark and all these entities and all those things. Well, those things are there. It's not that it's not there, but it's not always responsible for your own stress, for the own muck that we create, right?
Yeah.
It's I mean, most of the time it is our own internal things, to be honest, because we are not able to see, we are not integral within, we are not authentic with our own self, right?
Yeah.
So, I still remember that saying that it is okay to lie to someone else, but the problem is we are constantly lying to ourselves. You see, with all these images that we have created, I am a light worker, I am angelic, I am this, I am that. All this identification. On one hand, I've seen these people speaking of detachment, but at the same time they themselves are so much attached to these identities, of being angelic or
Yeah.
all those things. So I just I just feel that because when we speak of spirituality here in Eastern culture, we simply want to embrace everything that comes into you, everything, all the aspects.
Yeah.
So I feel that, and it is not about Eastern culture or Western culture. I believe even in West
Makes sense.
also, most of the even religious books also say the same thing. It is just that they have, somewhere lost its meaning. But if it all boils down to the same thing, you need to function from your heart chakra. That is how every human being is supposed to function, by the way, naturally. That is what we call natural. But unfortunately, it is not happening because,
Yeah.
for various reasons, it's not happening. But then uh, all you can do is you can assist somebody to, or guide somebody where their kundalini or their, they start functioning from the heart chakra or from the heart, right? But that shift in consciousness will only happen when that person is willing to do those things, to perform those spiritual practices, right? Otherwise, you will put your efforts and you will waste your time and your energy also in that case. Because, like I said, energy is like a waterfall. You can keep on giving, you can keep on giving, but then there will come a time when you yourself will be empty, right? So that should not happen. And also, the other thing is, we also we have observed that the when you become authentic, uh, your own aura, your own frequency it becomes more lighter rather than dense, right? Now, when somebody is
Right.
when somebody is carrying so much of pain, or he or she is carrying so much of grudges or some sort of resentment against other, for example, then the energy automatically becomes dense.
I don't know if colors have anything to do with it. We've had the aura pictures taken with the machine that shows your colors.
Yes,
Not sure how accurate it is, but it is definitely different at different times. Sometimes it's a dark hue of red. Sometimes it's a bright yellow.
yes.
Just depends on your mood. Like,
Yeah, I mean, of course, it's not just the mood. I was just speaking about this to a friend of mine. I was telling her about the difference between the feelings and emotions, right? So say for example, emotions
Right.
is something which is physically there in our body. You see, like whatever you eat, all those things also affects us. It affects our emotions, right? There is actual science behind this now, that whatever you eat, not just what you eat, but also how you eat, it affects your physical body and it affects the emotional state of you, right?
Yeah.
And on the other hand, feelings is not something that you practice, right? You just feel,
No. Yeah.
isn't it? So this aura thing, yes, of course, aura always keeps on changing based on mood, based on the temperature, your body temperature, your ambience, whatever, wherever you are. So it keeps on changing, yes. And I like to share a funny thing here. I met one of the healers long back, okay, and she used to claim that she used to exercise demons, okay, or she used to exercise, perform exorcism, right, for example. So I used to simply just ask her that, okay, that's great that you're doing this, but then when you pull it out from, from the victim, where does that energy go? Are you like, what do you do with that energy, right? So she'll be like, I transmute it.
Right.
Yeah. So she'll be like, I transmute the energy and send it back to where it was. So you see, I don't want to question all of those things because sometimes it is a genuine thing. It's not that all of them are fake. There are genuine, people who perform exorcism. But then there are these people also who, who just do this psychological thing, right? And then it actually affects the victim rather than healing that person, unfortunately.
Right. Yeah.
But yes, those demonic and those entities and those energies are also there. We cannot deny that. It's there, definitely.
Yeah.
And that is where, again, like that is where this whole uh, high and dark thing comes into picture. But when we speak of dark and light, even the light can affect us, you see. So what I mean by that is, say for example, there have been pictures and there have been instances where they have captured the CCTV footage, or when they are doing this paranormal investigation, right? So they have seen a figure which is white or bright as light, okay, but doing weird things in the room, in the premises, okay. So it's not that it is always good. It's not that it is
Yeah.
all goody thing, it can also affect us. So it
Yeah.
totally depends. You can't, it differs. Yeah.
Well, our perception on that sort of thing has been changed by Hollywood movies,
Yes.
things like that, and you never know if any of these shows are actually scripted or if they are in fact seeing things.
Yes.
Who knows?
Yes. But then there are like I said, there are beings who really work on these things, on in terms of energetics. There are many beings worldwide who work on these things, but they are the one who silently do that. They don't need the name and fame. They don't go for all of that. They just don't go all gaga about it, that I am the
Right.
one who's doing this. Oh, I am the angel who is healing. Right. And I've also seen this, Rich. I'd like to share this also with you. The best thing you can take in terms of frequency is music. You see, music is the best thing in that sense. Like,
Mhm.
there are different types. I'm sure there are different types and vibration in terms of music. So I know a friend of mine who is, again, a very famous healer or a light worker. Okay. Now the thing is that she's always in that realm. She always wear white robe and white color clothes, and she's always in smiling and all of that, and so I just shared a kind of a some piece of music with her. So she was very happy. She'll be like, oh, this music is taking me into trance. This music is taking me, I'm just feeling so many things. I'm getting so many experiences. I said, that's great. So let me share you another track. And the other track was rock music. All right. It was like hard, heavy metal rock. And she's like, oh my God, this is so dense. This is so dark.
Yeah.
I'm like, look, this is where the problem starts. Music is music, right?
Yeah.
Music is music. I mean, if you ask me personally, yes, of course, if it gives you goosebumps, if it gives you some sort of feeling, if it is bringing you down, so-called down, well, experience that. End of the day, it is all about experience, right? In the end.
Yeah. I was saying I got in trouble this morning because the first thing I did when we got up was put on YouTube, and I was playing Jailbreak by AC/DC.
Oh.
And my wife said, really? I don't need this kind of energy this morning. How about something a little more mellow?
Oh.
Okay.
Well, I see that's the whole point, right? Like if you look coming back to the Gothic people, if you take their example, they find this type of music mellow, right? It's just. I mean, of course. See, suppose if you're just getting up, you're not always in the mood to hear loud music. Maybe you just want to, pacify yourself, or you just want to, listen to something soothing. That's fine. But then, why do we condemn that, or why do we call that this is a dark sound or dark type of genre of music, right? It's all right. So
yeah.
I mean, if you really want to experience and enjoy music, if you really want to feel and experience music, all you need to do is simply allow whatever is whatever is played, and see what is going on inside. That is the best way to experience. You see, you play out heavy metal, you play out Metallica, Guns N' Roses, or whatever, right? And just experience what's going on inside, right? When it is played. The problem also starts when we start to identify and analyze the wordings of the song. So in that process, we actually don't feel the music. You see, we interpret the lyrics, and we somewhere kind of identify with those lyrics, and then we say, oh, this is such a beautiful song, but we actually are not enjoying the music there. You see, so if you really want to experience music, it's the experience of the feel of it. And many people will say, oh, that's what we are talking about. We don't feel nice when we listen to that music. Well, there is some sort of resistance in you that is not feeling nice, and that is what is the whole point, right? Whatever you resist will persist any which ways.
Yeah. I listen to all sorts of music.
Yeah.
I don't care for opera too much, but I don't know. Maybe it's just because I don't understand the words. I don't know. But this, I was a country music fan for quite some time. I'm always in classic rock and the 60s rock and things like that. Some of the stuff today is a lot different. Some of it's good. Some of it just irritates me. But but you're right. It's music is music, and it's an expression from whomever's doing it. So,
Like you correctly said, in music also, it's just music is music. So even wordings don't matter actually. Like I personally love Arabic music, for example, or I love Chinese music, right? Or any kind of music. I used to listen to Latin songs when I was kid. I don't even understand what the hell they were singing. They were like, oh, and I'm like, okay, whatever, But but it was a vibe, it was a frequency, and I'm like, wow, it's something in that music which is like really resonating, or just makes me feel nice. And the same thing I used to feel for the dark, so-called dark music. I mean, I don't care what kind of it is. I used to love Metallica as a kid, you know,
Yeah.
or and all those bands which are banned, so that's fine.
I saw Metallica in Long Beach, California with Ozzy Osbourne.
Oh yeah, oh yes, Ozzy Osbourne, exactly. So for me,
Yeah.
everything is divine. I mean, if you ask me, everything is divine. Everything is spiritual. There is no such thing as spiritual and non-spiritual, or spiritual and materialism. People often say that is, you're very materialistic, you're not spiritual. That is bullshit. Everything is spiritual.
Yeah.
Everything is spiritual, right? I mean, it is written in our holy books also, right? We say that Jesus is in the Alpha and in the Omega, I believe, right? That is the saying, right? I think so.
Right.
If
Yeah.
if Jesus is in Alpha and Omega, that means he's there in everything. So why can't we embrace everything, right? I mean, it's consciousness. End of the day.
Yeah.
I mean, I have seen this even with so-called spiritual paths. They are like, it's funny, and I'm sure you will understand what I'm talking about. Okay, so I went to this place in India where there is this spiritual meditation happening. Okay, and as always, I my favorite is black or blue. So I was wearing a black T-shirt, and the monks over there, they know me, but then they'll be like, "Oh, gee, you're wearing black. That is not kind of good, in meditation." I said, "Why not?"
Yeah.
I said, "Why not?" So they are like, "No, there are particular energies, there are particular things that the color also has energies." I said, "Yes, of course, I understand that, but individually, those things differ. You see, and that's the fact. For me, suppose if for me or for anybody or any other person, black may work to enhance their spiritual energies, you see, and white may not work. It is not always necessary that it's a kind of a uniform that you must wear white or yellow, you see,
Right.
right?
Right.
Or any light shaded dress so that you become a light.
Right. Now they've got different colored candles for whatever you want to do. If you're speaking to a spirit, you need a white candle. If you're wishing for money, you need a green candle. If you want to heal the earth, it's a brown candle, whatever. But we attach things to things
Yes.
for what it's worth.
Yes. That's what I was saying. We think from human perspective, even in those cases. I know this paranormal investigation group in UK, okay, and everybody trolled them. Literally, they trolled them online, okay, because they went to some German church or some German graveyard, which was a very old and abandoned graveyard kind of a thing, and it was German. Now over there, they are going there and trying to communicate with spirits in English. So everybody told them that they were like badly trolled online. Like, okay, wait a minute. So those German spirits who are 800-year old or not, God knows 1,000 years old, and you are trying to communicate with them with English. You assume that they will know English, right? So yeah, it's funny.
Well,
It's funny at times. Yeah.
so that works with the topic pretty well because there's always, depending on even Carl Jung talks about duality and light and dark and all that other stuff. And
Mm.
I like a lot of what Carl Jung does or did as a psychologist because he had more of a nature-based type of
Yeah.
thought process as opposed to Sigmund Freud, who, for whatever reason, people believe everything he said. But Carl Jung is more about the things that we're talking about, the inner dualities and how
Yes.
you fight with yourself and your own conscience and how it
Yes.
eventually kills you because it just overwhelms you. So
Yes.
and now we're talking to neutralize all this energy that's around us because everything's negative that's happening today. You just feel it, and you just
Yes.
wish you could push back with better energy and like say, neutralize or at least equalize what's going
Yes.
on.
Yes, I would. We also put it like this. When we speak to sadhaks, or the disciples, or the people who are just starting their journey into spiritual paths, we also tell them this, that see, our physical body is made up of 5 elements, and so is everything else in this universe. I mean, especially on this planet, it's all made up of 5 elements, right? So. Now there are people who say that you must balance those 5 elements. Well, you cannot actually balance it, because can you balance water? You cannot balance water in your system. If you do that, you'll die. The water
Yeah.
also constantly flows in the form of blood, right? But the thing is that these 5 elements, if we become more aware, and like we discussed, if we become neutral and just observe those 5 elements, then there is something that happens. You see, then there is something which happens within, and it is all interconnected. All the 5 elements, the Kundalini, the chakras, all these things are all interconnected. And even when we speak of chakras, people normally focus only on the 7 chakras that normally people know. From the head to the spine, but there are more than 100 chakras in our body actually. Okay, even
Right.
our palms have chakras. So I was once asked by a friend who came from US. So she said, "Why you Indian people eat with your hands? Why you don't use normally? Why don't you use spoon and fork?" I said there is a science behind that also. What we traditionally do is, when we have the food in our plate, we chant certain mantras, we invoke the presence of your guru or your god or whatever, and even your ancestors in that sense. And then first you take out some amount of the food for them, and then when you're eating, what is happening is your chakras on your fingertips and the chakras of hand, that energy is emitted in that, it get mixed with the food, right? And then when you're putting it in your mouth, so basically we call the eating the food also as yagna. Those fire rituals that we do in India, it's just like that, because it's similar to that fire ceremony, or the havans, what we call in India, havans or yagna. So you offer the food and all those things to the deities. Similarly, you yourself are God, so you're offering the food to yourself. So there is a deep science behind that also. So when you are doing that, that's why you should not talk when you are eating your food. You see, right now when you're eating your food, let us say even if you're using a spoon and fork, when you're eating your food, there will be constant commentary on the food itself, right? You'll be like, oh, I don't know how much calories I will gain from this, or how the food is, or it's less salty, or it's oily, or whatever, blah blah blah. But you are not actually experiencing the food itself. You see, so again coming back to that, so everything is energetic, and everything is a play of energetics and energy, right? It's just that how simple you make yourself available to these energies. You see,
Hmm.
right now we have unnecessarily entangled ourselves so much into the mind and the other things that we have. So we try to practice those things wherein it should happen naturally, right? So the best way to go natural is to go neutral, you know.
Yeah.
And it is of course, it is not an easy thing to do immediately. It's not that you just sit for one day meditation and you'll become neutral. It's not like that, right? Because it's the conditionings, the beliefs, so many years of conditionings is there, which is ruling you. The morals, the values, the principles, all those things are ruling you right now, right? Not just you as in you, but everybody. So
Right.
so one has to be really, really neutral, and to become really neutral, again, one has to be really, really intensely become aware of what's going on, right?
Yeah.
Only then you become authentic or neutral or awakened person.
Right. I find myself spending a lot of time nowadays unlearning everything I've learned in the last 54 years, 55.
Yes, Yes, yes. That's great. That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
But the thing is that only, Rich, see, it's just to discover. It's a matter of discovery rather than creating concepts, or like you have the old concepts and then you make new concepts. That is not going to work out, right? It's all about discovery.
Yeah.
That's why I don't suggest books. I myself have never read any book. I don't read books. What I do is I go in the woods, I sit and meditate with nature. That's what we have been doing. Like even when I was a monk, we used to simply go to the jungle and just meditate. And you have in forest normally you have those stream, no, the river and the stream. So you actually have a live stream there, right? So we used to joke around, that I'm having a live stream right now. So, anyways, so when you are there, that is the different frequency altogether. You're elevated in that sense, right? Because you are close to nature. You're close to your own family, you can say, So that's how it is.
Yeah.
So I'm not against reading the books, but the only thing is that the more you read the books, it is accumulated knowledge. It's not the knowledge that you have, it's an accumulated information that is there, and then your mind will recycle those things instead of discovering the things, you see.
A lot of times whatever you're reading is just someone else's perception.
Yeah, absolutely. But then it is, again, in the end, it is someone else's experience. It's not in your experience, right?
Yeah.
So I can only talk and speak about my own experience with you if I'm sharing an experience, or I can just give you reference of someone else's experience so that your logical mind can comprehend and somewhere, be satisfied, right? But in the end, it's it's someone else's experience. So yeah, that's how it is.
Cool.
So I would say,
thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes. I would suggest, Rich, that you when you are contemplating or when you're doing the sadhanas, just try to just remind yourself about being neutral. Whenever any thoughts comes in, especially when you're contemplating on some things. For example, be neutral. Take a neutral stand. Be a witnesser. You see.
Yeah.
And then let me know. I'm sure it'll work miraculously for you, and I'll help you with that. Don't worry.
I'll let you know what happens.
Sure. All right then. Take care, Rich, and give my regards to Devi. Yeah.
Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.